You know, when we were doing this show, like right towards the end of the show is when like TMZ and that whole thing started to happen. So it was like MySpace was kind of happening towards the end of it, and like the TMZ thing started to happen. And the truth is, I think we would have been fine because everybody was pretty buttoned up and buckled up. I mean, we had fun and went out and were like a little crazy. I think we would have been fine. Although, like, I mean, I feel bad for these kids today. Like, they don't. I mean, we just got to go out. Like, nobody had a camera in the club.
Yeah.
There was nobody outside the door when you left. Like, you could go and just have fun and go. You could really enjoy the spoils of being young and famous and have $1 in your pocket. And, like, and we did it. And nobody did anything stupid, but we, like. It was
everybody does something stupid.
Yeah.
It was just a different.
Teenagers do stupid stuff sometimes.
It just wasn't on the record,
right?
And like, so maybe we did do stupid stuff, but it just wasn't on the record. So it kind of went. But I don't know. That's the answer. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. No, it definitely makes it a lot harder, and I do think a lot of the stuff that people worked on at that time like wouldn't work now. Like I think about. And Punk'd has come back in different variations, but your version of Punk'd, I feel like really worked because of the time that we were in.
Yeah, it was kind of the time. It was also, MTV was TikTok,
right?
Right. MTV was Instagram. MTV was where you went to like see what people were doing, right? And so. I think it catalyzed it at that time. Like it was kind of like this look into like, well, how are the people when they don't know the cameras are on? And the cool thing, and it was very different because when I did the show, every single person that got punked signed a waiver and said, yes, you can air this. Because I destroyed tapes on people, anybody who said you can't, like. Destroyed it, and I don't talk about it, and that was like a common respect that we had back then that no longer exists, where it's like everybody's got a camera and everybody's trying to film whatever, and then they just post it like as if that person gave them permission to just take their private life and make it public. And so it was very different in so much as it was kind of a glimpse at how people would react to things, and nobody was expecting it. Right? Like there was like nobody saw it coming. And now I think everybody's a little bit more on guard because they know there's always a camera rolling. And so I think it's just a very I think it'd be much harder to do that show today.
Definitely. Is there anybody who held what you did to them against you?
No.
Everyone was cool with it.
Everybody's been cool with it. I mean, there are a couple people for whom I burned the tape. That were like, that was dirty. And I was like, yeah, but I burned the tape. So,
fair enough.
Yeah.
But I think everybody had a sense of humor about it. And you know who had the least sense of humor about it was comedians, which is really weird because you think that like comedians would be down, but comedians, they like to be in on the joke.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't like to be the joke.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so it was comedians. And after a while, we just stopped doing comedians because they were like, nah. And you're like, dude, it's funny. Like, come on, man. Like, it was funny.
They want to be the one making fun of you.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, was there ever somebody where it was like, okay, this is going so off the rails from what we planned, but it's going to work?
Yep. They almost all did, right? Like, we spent a lot of time eliminating X factors. So you would try to like get people to have a lockdown space. You would try to make sure that there were no bogeys coming onto the set because you only had one take. So if you didn't get it, you just didn't get it. And some of the productions were like $100,000, $200,000 to shoot the thing. Like if you're going to like wreck a car or flip a car and it, like, that's a real car and you really flip it and it really like it actually really happens. And so if you lost it, it was like you lost like, $250,000 like just trying to pull a prank. And so you had to get it. And so we would try to eliminate anything that could go wrong, any X factor. And then you also have to get a person in the camera to, like, where you knew there was a hidden camera facing the camera. So we would rehearse it so that when they got there, we were ready for anything that went wrong. And every single time something went wrong and we had to figure it out, like, on the fly. And there were, it was a lot of coordination of a lot of people, and we had an unbelievable crew and just, like, insanely good cast members that were able to go with the flow and make it happen. And there were a lot of times where, like, someone was like, am I being punked right now? And then you'd be like, you'd have to, like, spin them back around and then get them back in, because otherwise you lose the entire day of production. So
you need to get a full episode.
You got to get an episode. And so you go till you got it.
Yep.